This holiday season, I decided to create 2 fashion cinemagraphs for holiday cards, and I would be sharing this with my friends and colleagues on social media. I love the results, so why don't you join me behind the scenes to see how I got the shot. Cinemagraphs are moving images where most of the frame is still, but there's a part of the image that moves. And what it does is it brings the shot to life. The movement and the image, they're played endlessly on a loop. And I love how cinemagraphs, they grab your attention. They're a little something different. And I've been implementing them more and more for my business for a wide range of different clients. For these holiday cards, I decided to shoot 2 cinemagraph concepts to end the year with something beautiful. When you create a cinemagraph, you have to first decide what's going to be still in each frame and then what you're going to move. Then you can develop your concept. For my first concept, I decided to have some festive lights blinking in the frame. And for the second concept, I wanted to make it look like it was appearing to snow in my scene. Let's take a look at how I bring both of these ideas to life. Having a great creative team makes all of the difference. Stylist Lisa Smith-Craig provided me with a beautiful red dress and accessories to support this concept. And Johnny Gonzalez gave me the glamorous hair and makeup for my striking model, Alexandra, from Major Model Management. For this first Cinemagraph Christmas card, what I wanted to do was I wanted to have some kind of lights blinking in the frame, but I didn't want to do something that was expected, too typical, like no blinking Christmas tree in the background or just lights twinkling. So instead, I wanted to try something a little bit more epic. I reached out to my friend and designer, Lori Sun, and I let her know the idea that I was thinking, and instantly the wheels in her head started turning. And what she did is she created me a custom headpiece just for this shoot. It is so beautiful, covered in jewels and just that beautiful golden glow. And she added lights into the headpiece that we could turn on and off during the shoot. I love that it's queen-like and that it's regal, and so I knew that I needed a strong model and strong hair and makeup in order to get this look just right. Now, as a fashion photographer, I've always been attracted to the color red, and also since it was a holiday card, I decided to shoot red on red on red. Red background, having some red accent pieces, and a red dress. For the shoot, I would shoot on a tripod, and I needed to capture some 4K video. What I did is while capturing this 4K, I had my assistant sitting behind the model, flipping the light on and off. I also captured some still frames with a model in the exact same pose. Now, technically what I could do is I could grab a still from the 4K video and edit that, but when I shoot and work with a raw file and capture that still, it gives me a lot more flexibility with my retouching. I got the perfect pose, I had my model hold perfectly still, I got 5 to 10 seconds of 4K video, and then I shot stills to combine the 2 in post. Okay, so let's talk about our next concept. All right, for this one, I wanted my model to be sitting in that same red environment, beautiful red dress, but I wanted it to look like it was snowing in the studio. And of course, I could get a big snow machine and record video and loop that, but I thought it might be better and actually look even more elegant to capture a still and then have the snow animated after the fact. Now, I wanted this to look realistic, so I needed to have some pieces of snow on my subject. And we didn't actually have any fake snow, so what we did is we cut up tiny pieces of tissues. And when we placed it on the model, in her hair, on her dress, on her arms, it actually looked like real snow, especially to the camera. I shot a whole bunch of different frames, but I didn't actually need to capture video for this image because I was going to be using Adobe stock footage of snowing after the fact. When you shoot cinemagraphs, you need to use constant lighting. You can't have strobes firing in the frame because as you're capturing the movement, this would show up. So for these cinemagraphs, what I did is I used my modeling lights on my ProPhoto D1 Airs. And although these are strobes, the modeling lights actually have variable power, so I could adjust the exposure of my lights. And what I liked is I'm very familiar with these lights, so I could use the modifiers I'm already comfortable with. One other thing I did need to consider is other ambient or constant light in the room. So I closed the curtains to get rid of the daylight and made sure that the ambient light wasn't adversely affecting the light in my scene. For these shots, I used a 5-degree grid on the face, and this gave me a little bit of pop and extra illumination. Then I used a beauty dish with a grid, and this filled in the shadows on the face, but also improved the quality of light on the face. Then I used a 20-degree grid on the background. Because she was wearing a dark red dress on a dark background, this gave a little bit of separation. And finally, I used another beauty dish with a grid on the right-hand side of the frame to give a beautiful, subtle highlight to the side of her arm and her hair, as well as the dress. For both of these shots, I used the Canon 5D Mark IV because of its ability to capture 4K resolution video. This would give me a ton of detail to work with. Plus, the stills are more than 30 megapixels. I shot with a Canon 70-200 2.8 and a Canon 24-105, and this gave me a wide range of focal lengths to choose from. For these shots, I also shot on a manfrotto tripod, which is essential when you're creating cinemagraphs. I've got my shots, but now it's time to bring it all together. In the Cinemagraph with the headpiece, I combined my still frame and the 4K video in Adobe Photoshop CC. It allowed me to control the toning and the retouching and to line up my frames. For the snowy holiday card, I downloaded high-res files of stock footage of snow falling from Adobe Stock. And with a black background, it was actually pretty easy for me to change the blend modes in Adobe Photoshop CC so it would look like it was actually snowing in my scene. I did the final masking and the looping in Flixel Cinemagraph Pro, where I could use my high-resolution Cinemagraph to share on social channels and on their platform. And the bits of the tissue that were in the frame, combining it with that stock, made it look like it really was the winter scene that I had envisioned. For the new year, I'm really hoping to create a lot more cinemagraphs and to push myself creatively with this particular art form. I think it's a great way for me to get started before the new year, and also a beautiful way to end this one. Happy holidays, everyone, and I'm wishing you the very best for an exquisite and successful new year. I hope you enjoyed seeing how I got the shot.